Hello and welcome to today's video on the North Node in Pisces and embracing the mystery. Thank you for tuning in today, and so much love to all of you with your North Node in Pisces, or anybody who's watching to support a loved one with North Node in Pisces or the 12th house. You are awesome. You're awesome, and I'm so happy to have you here today. Thank you. For those of you who may be stumbling upon this video, my name is Maya Joy Kana, and I am actually a psychic, and I have a little bit of a passion for astrology, and especially for the North Nodes, because they just offer us so much wisdom about our path for these lifetimes, and I just love how rich they are with insights. And I love using the North Nodes to just give my clients that extra little boost as they seek to navigate their epic and unfolding life journeys. And full disclosure, before we jump into today's message, I myself have the North Node in Pisces, so I am right here with all of you in learning to embrace the mysteries of life. And, you know, as I sit here today, I remember the feeling when I first discovered the North Nodes. And this was in November of 2014 when I first found out my North Node was in Pisces. And at first, I felt so much relief. It was like I could feel my entire body relax for the first time in my life, because I finally realized that my life wasn't about being perfect. It wasn't about achieving goals. It wasn't about having everything go according to plan. I finally realized that my life was about learning to surrender and trust in the magic, which is what I had always wanted to do. And the next day, when I woke up, after finally discovering that my North Node was in Pisces, I actually decided to leave behind the life that I had been working towards for a very long time. And I was working on my master's in international nonprofit development and administration. It was about international service on a very large scale. I even had previously gotten a degree in global leadership and worked very hard for that as well. And yet, immediately when I discovered that my North Node, that my true purpose was to embrace the Pisces energy, I knew that I had to devote myself fully to working on my spiritual gifts. And thus, the next day, I made that commitment to myself to pursue this path as a psychic and a creator. And here I am. Anyway, I felt inspired to tell you a little bit of that background. And another memory that I really have related to the North Node in Pisces that sticks out to me so much was, I guess it was about 6-7 months later, and by that time I had discovered the amazing book Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller, which is all about the North Nodes. And I've got to say, if you have about $12 to $15 and you want to make a great investment in your personal development, buy that book. It's one of my top 3 favorite books of all time. Anyway, so I'm flipping through the book and I'm reading the chapter on the North Node in Pisces. And as I read it, I can feel like my whole entire body like relaxing, and I just am like, wow, I wish I would have known this sooner. Anyway, though, I remember that one thing that was written in the chapter somewhere is it said, if you have the North Node in Pisces, this is the easiest of all incarnations, she said. This is the easiest North Node that you could have. well, I'll say it doesn't always feel that way, but her point in saying that it was the easiest of all incarnations was to really hit home the principle that when you have the North Node in Pisces, your journey is just to let go and let things unfold naturally. And actually, as you settle into that energy more and more and embrace that more and more, what it means is that you become responsible for less and less and less, and you turn more and more and more over to a higher power, over to the universe. And so in that way, perhaps the North Node in Pisces requires the least amount of mental, physical effort. Okay, perhaps. Anyway, I think that's what she was trying to suggest when she said that. If you have your North Node in Pisces, it's the easiest of all incarnations. But as you know, if you have your North Node in Pisces, it doesn't feel easy because we are coming from prior experiences of feeling like we have to manage all the details and we have to be very, very responsible and we have to do things properly. And so just letting go, trusting that everything, all the details of this material life will be taken care of is not always the easiest thing. I think when we really become determined to surrender that which we cannot control, things do flow quite a bit better. But although that can often work in many areas for somebody who has their North Node in Pisces, right? We may find it, okay, yes, yeah, I can let go here, I can let go there. But I feel like a lot of us often find that in one particular area of life, it is more difficult to let go. And that's really what I want to address today with this message, is that I've noticed a pattern whereby people who have their North Node in Pisces, when they reach a certain level of spiritual development and understanding, are often handed over by the universe some sort of mystery, something in their life that is just completely mysterious, that they have no control over and no mental understanding about. Something that really, really challenges their Virgo self node that wants to analyze and understand and predict and plan everything. And recently I've been reflecting on the mystery and this idea of mystery and how it relates to the North Node in Pisces. And I've been reflecting on my own life and the extent to which, despite my greatest efforts, there are certain elements that defy understanding that have followed me throughout my whole life. And at many points I've thought that these mysteries were wrong in some way, that something was wrong, something is wrong. How could I have experienced this or that? That doesn't make any sense. Something's wrong. I need to figure it out. I need to solve it. And yet I've noticed that when I take that approach, I become very stressed, I become very tense, and I never really get answers to the mystery anyway. the mysteries of existence. And so as I mature myself, I've realized that the path of greatest ease and really the path of any person with North Node in Pisces is to embrace the mystery, to surrender to the mystery, and kind of just to get in the car without knowing where you're going and trust that you're going to be led to exactly where you need to be. So anyway, to speak a little more about astrology, right? Every planet, every sign has a planet that is its quote-unquote ruler. And so, as some of you may know, the planetary ruler of Pisces is considered to be Neptune, the beautiful blue Neptune. And I think when we first discovered North Node in Pisces, at least it was the case for me anyway, the first thing that I learned about it is like, wow, this is the path of spirituality and magic and dreams and enchantments and all these really cool mystical things. And I was like, yeah, I'm into that. That's really cool, because all these things are affiliated with Neptune. However, as we deep dive more and more and more into the Neptunian energy, we'll also discover, as with all things in creation, there's a duality. So perhaps the high side of Neptune is just an incredibly pure and potent creativity, absolute spiritual exaltation, profound, magical, mystical experiences, amazing dreams come to life, oneness, and so much more. And yet there's the other side of Neptune that some of us may just be discovering or learning to embrace. And that is that, the Neptune as a planetary ruler also relates to illusions. Yeah, it relates to illusions, even to delusions sometimes. And it is often affiliated with addictions. And it is often affiliated with mysteries. And that's the focus of the message today. Neptune can create a fog. Neptune actually really does influence, like the tides of the ocean and fog itself. And it creates a fog through which we cannot clearly see certain things. And my sense is that learning to see the beauty in the fog and accept that the fog is there, clouding a certain area of our life, is really part of the magic of the North Node in Pisces. One mantra for Neptunian Piscean energy could be, things are not as they seem. Things are not as they seem. Because of that cloud, because of that fog that Neptune puts over things, it makes it inherently impossible for us to see those things with the perfect clarity that we would like to see things through when we have that Virgo mastery. Because when you have this North Node, when you have the North Node in Pisces, you have mastery of Virgo energy, which I think is actually something to be proud of. And when we think of Virgo, as I think of it now, I really think of like a clinician, like a genius, like a doctor, a scientist, looking under the microscope and seeing everything magnetized and paying attention to every single little detail and coming to truly understand all layers of a particular disease, for example, or a particular scientific process. And that's where we're most comfortable. And yet when we think of Pisces, it's almost the exact opposite of that. It's standing in the face of something that totally defies all understanding, surrendering to not knowing, and allowing things to come to a resolution without knowing how that particular resolution has taken place. So where Virgo's path is to seek to bring order to chaos, perhaps the path of the Pisces North Node is to seek calm in spite of the chaos. Something like that. To find contentment in the chaos. To know that there's a part of our consciousness that understands everything, but it's not the same consciousness that we live in during day-to-day life. It's not the same consciousness that cooks our dinner and reads our book and talks to our friends and family and does our taxes and all that kind of stuff. It's like almost about saying, I, the me that thinks, doesn't need to understand this because I, the higher me from which I am animating this experience, inherently understands this at a much deeper level than my brain could ever hope to comprehend. Yeah? So anyway, if you have your North Node in Pisces and you have a mystery, I guess what I want you to know is that everything will be okay. That this mystery is in your life for a reason. And that the mystery itself is the initiation. The initiation is not to bring understanding to the mystery. It's not to get answers. It's not to bring order to the chaos. The initiation, the battle within yourself, is to overcome the need to know and to learn throughout your life to appreciate and savor that which cannot be understood. To appreciate and savor whatever area of life it is in which the mystery persists. And I feel usually there's one area of life where the mystery will be the strongest. And if you have mysteries in multiple areas of life, I think that just means that you're even having a more profound lifetime, in the most profound lifetime with your North Node. But maybe there's a mystery, related to your family or your origins and your family, something you don't understand. You just can't pin down. Maybe it's related to your career. Maybe it's related to your health or your romantic relationships or your sense of self or your gifts or your talents or all of the above. Whatever your mystery, try admitting not knowing. Try to think of your mystery as a beautiful, sparkling ocean or sea. And try just jumping into that sea. Try just diving into that sea and just swimming in the sparkling waters and see how that feels. Because it might feel really, really good. It might feel really, really good. I think of my own work, as an example of this and just the strange initiations of North Node in Pisces. Every day I do readings, and every day I enter into an altered state and I bring through messages from the clients, guides, and guardian angels. And what's funny is that I do this every single day, and most people tell me that it benefits them a great deal when I do this. But when it comes to my own logical mind and my understanding of what it is that I am doing, I have none. The whole thing is completely mysterious to me, even though I do it every day. And I've been doing it every day for 5.5 years. And that, to me, that is the journey of the North Node in Pisces. It's in knowing that we don't need to understand any particular thing in order to benefit tremendously from the magic of that thing. And that maybe sometimes there's greater magic in allowing the mystery to persist than there would be in understanding the phenomenon itself. And perhaps there are many, many parts of this reality that really cannot be understood and are really not meant to be understood. And perhaps the greatest things in life are those things that cannot be understood. And if we remind ourselves of that a little bit more and we embrace the mystery, I think those of us with North Node in Pisces will experience less stress and anxiety in our lives. Yeah. So I guess for me personally, and maybe for you, the quest of this life might be to really come to recognize and appreciate where life is asking you to surrender to the unknown. Because it's really in the recognition that you do not need to know, and that you don't know, and that you're not meant to know, that you will find peace. And I also feel that it's really only from that state of surrender that the understanding and answers will begin to arise from a deeper place within your being. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed today's message. I want to thank again everybody who's come here to listen today and just send my amazing love and support, like just overflowing love and support to all of you who have your North Node in Pisces. As much as Jan Spiller may say this is the easiest of all incarnations, it really is an epic quest, the process of learning to surrender and let go. And I'm right here with all of you in this. And some of you have expressed interest in actually a community for North Node in Pisces. You've asked me to make a community for North Node in Pisces. And I want you all to know that I would love to do that. And I plan to do that. I hope to do that at some point in the future. I know that now is not quite the time, but just stay tuned because I feel such kinship with all of you who have this North Node, and I'd like to offer some sort of special something for all of you with your North Node in Pisces here in the next couple of years. So stay tuned for that if you're listening, especially in the distant future. Perhaps that thing, that community for North Node in Pisces already exists. So anyway, much love to all of you out there. Many, 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 many blessings to you. And namaste.